Thought it'd be a good day to check in with our good friend Janice Dean, the weather machine, the senior meteorologist over at Fox News, and by the way, a celebrated author. That's what I want to be someday. I want to be a celebrated author of Freddie the Frogcaster and the Big Blizzard.
Oh, I wonder what Freddie the Frogcaster would say about the big blizzard about to hit New York.
Well, Janice Dean could tell us that. Hey, Janice, good morning.
Hi, Brian and Larry. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well.
We're doing better than New York radio
dealing
with what you've got.
Yeah, you guys have got it rough in the next few days. But tell us how it looks where you are, and then let's look a little bit further south to where we are.
Well, let's start off with you guys. I mean, you are getting sort of the worst of it maybe this afternoon on your commute. I'm thinking about 2 to 4 inches of slushy stuff mixed with rain at times. So that is going to come probably later on this afternoon for your commute home. You'll certainly get a few fluffy snowflakes throughout the day today. And then the winds are going to be, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then overnight tonight, gusting around 25 miles per hour. So,
wow.
Not too bad, but I do know even a couple of inches can mean a big difference in the D.C. area. So people need to be really careful.
And she's heard about us.
Excuse me, are you saying that we are
us?
wimps when it comes to snow?
There was no W word in my vocabulary there.
It was the subtext. You're an author. Are you dealing subtext?
It's funny. Last week, I usually bring Freddie the Frogcaster and the Big Blizzard, my latest book, to schools every week. I usually read, or I try to read, to a school a week, especially in the winter season because the book is about a blizzard. And I went to a school last week, and we were talking about the fact, we haven't had a big blizzard in a long time.
Thanks.
And lo and behold, this week, this could be historic. We're getting all of the atmospheric conditions together for perhaps an epic snowstorm, and what looks like could be top 5 for Boston, certainly, maybe for New York, depending on the exact track of the storm or where the heaviest banding moves in. But this is a blizzard for all intents and purposes. This is a blizzard because winds are going to be in excess of 40, even up to hurricane force winds along the coast. So this is a big deal. This is not just your average snowstorm. This is a blizzard, one that could be crippling, that will be crippling, I would say, from Philadelphia all the way up to Maine.
Wow.
And what do they I saw one report that said New York and Central Park could be getting up to 3 feet in the next 12 hours. Is it really going to that kind of volume? If
that happens, it will be the number one biggest snow event that Central Park has ever seen. I think the most snow that we've seen was 26.9 inches, and that was a few years ago, 2006, I believe. It is possible. I would say Boston has a better shot of huge totals up to 3 feet, maybe west and north of the city.
Goodness.
Again, it sort of depends on where the storm sets up and how slow it moves. One of the reliable forecast models, the Euro model, which predicted Hurricane Sandy so well, is saying that the storm is going to sort of stall. And if that's the case, then we're going to be dealing with epic snow, and people are going to, unfortunately, they might be stranded. So, you need to make your preparations. They need to be done now.
Yeah, I mean, when it stalls, it just continues to churn that moisture into the atmosphere, and then the temperatures are cold enough. It just continues to pile up. That's like the worst-case scenario, right?
It is, and the thing that sets this storm up differently from the last few storms that we've had is the cold air. The cold air is in place. We had sort of a mixture of snow, freezing rain, sleet. That cuts back on snow totals, but when you have the setup that we have right now, that is conducive to major snow and blizzard conditions. I mean, this could be one that we'll be talking about, in the history books.
All right, so disruptions, especially if you're going north and to, things like plane and train traffic, that's going to be a big nightmare. Probably may cancel for a couple of days, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, people need to be prepared maybe for their kids not just to be off school tomorrow, but maybe even the rest of the week, depending on, how prepared the city is for big snowfall amounts. So,
again, I just want to point out, Janice Dean's talking about New York, Boston, Philadelphia, not here in Washington.
No, yes, my apologies.
Oh, no
DC,
worries.
You'll get a few inches, but this is not your event. This is not your event, the D.C. surrounding areas. This is Philadelphia up to Maine. So Philly, New York, Boston, all of the cities in between, really, 40 million people affected here. And when you have major airlines that are saying, we're canceling all the flights tomorrow, then you know it's pretty serious.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Is it me, Janice Dean, or has this one in particular been sort of hard to predict? Because, on Saturday, we were guaranteed that right here in D.C. we would have snow during the commute. It would start around 4 a.m. Last night, they said, maybe it's going to be later in the morning. When we started the morning, they said, probably won't see snow until the afternoon. And now we look out the window here in northwest D.C., and it's snowing. Yeah. It's snowing right now.
The snow, I've told people this before, that snow is probably the hardest precipitation to predict. It's when you talk about snowstorms, the forecast for busting it is pretty high sometimes. We call it a busted forecast because if the wind's set up in a different way, if you have precipitation coming off the ocean, depending on the track and how strong the storm is, you have to look at so many variables when you predict a winter storm. And that's why sometimes you'll hear the forecaster say, well, we're going to just get a dusting, and then you wake up to several inches of snow. And that's what happened in Atlanta a couple of years ago. They had a couple of inches of snow, and it shut that city down. People had to, bunk out or camp out at the local CVS and the schools. So this is a hard one. So that's why I always say you have to be kind of accountable for your own actions sometimes. We can't always get it right. It's not going to always be perfect. So you have to know what you're going to do if you're caught in a snowstorm and it's not, it's predicted later on or beforehand. So
unlike your colleague Shepard Smith, who does get everything perfect, apparently, certainly his hair. Boy, Shep Smith's hair is pretty perfect.
Well, I can't wait to talk to him today because
he's
always funny. He's always funny when it comes to snowstorms. It'll either be Fox News alert, it's snowing outside.
Right, exactly. I love that. Breaking news, it's cold.
It's cold.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
no, but I will school him today because this one's serious.
Yes.
This one's a blizzard, and this one could be life-threatening. So you'll hear strong language coming from me.
Oh, really?
My friend.
Well, that's worth tuning in for. All right. Well, listen. Let Shep know Brian and Larry love him down here in D.C.
Yeah, tell him we wanted to come on the show sometime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will during the show today.
All right, good. All right. Well, that'll be a free plug. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. All right. Janice, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Fox News senior meteorologist and author of Freddie the Frogcaster and the Big Blizzard.
Yeah, and
Janice Dean.
Freddie is a cold-blooded animal, of course, so it's got to be hard for Freddie the Frogcaster to cover a blizzard.
Freddie is an amphibian. That's right.
And so their metabolism slows down in a big way. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing Freddie the Frogcaster is a little off his game during blizzard events.
All I really want to say here is that if there is an animated feature of Freddie the Frogcaster, I want to be the voice of Freddie.
Really? You think he's got a Texas accent? I've always thought of Freddie as more of an East Coast guy.
I can't do it. That's a
Janice, are you still listening to this?
I am! Fantastic. Brian, you are totally in on the book if it becomes an animated feature.
Wait, no audition process at all?
No, I get
Unbelievable
it.
nepotism here.
See, there's another frog named Gil Flipper, Larry, that I think you'd be perfect for.
I've been called Gil Flipper in different contexts, though. So. Thank you, Janice.
You got it.
Good luck in the snow today there.
Thank you.
Hang in there.